So got the old girl on her back again. Just revisiting everything, so I've decided to start at the bottom of the floor. Just sort of blending my welds where there are anywhere where they are a bit rough, checking the repairs. A couple little holes I found, I spotted them up. So I'm just going to blend all them in a little bit better. And yeah, I'm going to use a bit of filler here and there. And then re-epoxy primer it. And that'll be ready for I'm going to do this in satin, low sheen satin black, just 2-pack. Got the underside of the tub in epoxy primer, a couple of coats. Now I'll just let it go off. Thinking of just hit it with some 600 to scuff it up a little bit. Not really for the adhesion, because I think you can put the top coat on straight away as long as within 5 days, 7 days, something like that. But more, I just use a 600 just to get it a little bit flatter. And then I'm just going to use, just this black satin finish. Not sure about the underfloor coating, sound deadener, bitumen, rhino coat, don't know. It's not a perfect job under there, but I don't really need to hide anything, so it's a little bit wavy. You can see a few welds here and there, but there's no rust. It's fairly honest. Bit sunny out here, but that's it. That's just straight out of the gun. Satin finish, a bit shiny for my liking, but not too bad. Can't see every weld, most of them, but not everyone. It's a lot better than what it was. Yeah, pretty happy. So all the rust is repaired. Rubbed it back with 80 actually. Scuff it all up. Got it all back to bare metal. Got a bit of skim coat of filler here and there, just to hide a few of the welds. Really, nothing too thick, in my opinion. I want to see how she turns out. All epoxy primed. Got a guide coat on it. So next thing, I'm gonna decide what to do with the interior floors. I think I'm just gonna keep them honest. Sand it all back, epoxy primer it again, and paint it the same colour as the car. You'll be able to see the weld marks, be able to see the repairs, but it's a Land Cruiser. It's fine. Just a few battle scars. It's better. I think it's better than trying to cover it up with deadener or rhino coat or whatever else. It'll be noisy and all that sort of stuff, but that's how they were made. Got all the tub in epoxy primer. Got a guide coat on it on the outside. I think the repairs are sort of okay. We'll see when we take the guide coat off. So I've been letting that harden up. It's autumn here in Sydney, but tomorrow's supposed to be 24. I've got a spot here in the afternoon sun where it's quite warm, so I want to epoxy prime the inside. I just put a quick coat on the inside before to stop it from like flash rusting, just to protect it while I was doing all the other repairs. So I've scrubbed all that back with 180. It's a bit rough, but the main thing is to make it grip. I'll put 3 coats, a guide coat, and then sand it back with, I don't know, whatever you're supposed to, I think 400 or something like that. And then I think the plan will be to paint the interior of the tub in colour. And then I'm thinking of putting on the chassis actually to do the rest of the painting. Do a mock fit up, maybe. I don't know. You see a lot of people do the mock fit ups. I don't know if I really have to. All my gaps around the doors where I did all the repairs are good, well, within a millimetre or something from the original measurement, so they're fine. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a bit of a waste of time. So I'm going to, anyway, whether I mock it up or not, I'm going to paint all the tub in colour, fit it to the chassis, and then I'll see how the weather's going. Maybe paint the rest of the panels and put them on, or maybe go to put the engine back in. I'm not really going to do any work on the engine at this stage. It was running okay anyway. We'll see how we go. I just paint it up, clean it up and whack it in. I've got another carby for it, a single barrel, which it should have had on it. And then, yeah, stick with the interior, I guess. Maybe all the seats have got to be pulled apart, all the frames painted. So there's a bit of work there. There's a bit of work everywhere. But we're moving along slowly. It's not my favourite part, paint preparation. I like spraying, but sanding out, no, not so much. So got it all in epoxy primer. Some gearbox cover. All the interior is done, looks okay. I'm not sure they'll guide coat it. Might be a pain in the ass to rub out. But I'll let it dry for a while, week or so, and see how we go. Progress is good. So I've got all the epoxy primer rubbed out. I use a little bit of glazing putty here and there for a couple little nicks. So I'm going to spot putty it again where I've rubbed through. I'll rub that out and then paint it. It's okay. I'm not a painter, but it's got no rust, that's for sure. I'm pretty happy with it, and we'll see how it goes. All the epoxy primer touched up, so now I'm going to go wet on wet with the high build, just on the body, the exterior part of the body, maybe a little bit of the floor. I've done the welds and that just to blend them in a little bit better. Yeah, it's coming up pretty good. Happy days. Righto, got it all in high build primer. So I'll shadow coat that later, rub it out and get on with the colour. I don't mind the colour of the primer actually. So hope any of the repairs don't come out. So today's the day. Got it all sanded back. 800 wet and dry I used. Done a few spot repairs where it needed to. Welcome to my spray booth. So I've just sort of wet the driveway, put a wet sheet down. Got the spray booth heated up to 19, 20 maybe. No wind. Best I can do. So now we'll see how she turns out. I've wiped it all down with thinners about 3 times, Prepsol, got a little paintbrush and went all around the captive nuts, all around the firewall, in all the little nooks and crannies, just with a brush and thinners and the air gun. So it's pretty clean. Well, it's very clean. Just hope it, well, I hope it sticks. Anyway, next time you see it, it'll be in Dune Beige. Very exciting. I'm a bit nervous actually. Anyway, we'll see how she turns out. So there she be. Got about 4 coats on it. The finish is sort of alright. It's a flat sort of colour, I don't know what you call it, solid. It's a solid colour, so there's no clear over the top. And I'm no painter. But I did manage to get about 8,700 runs in it. It's a bit of a record for me. Normally I only get 8,400. I was really lucky with the weather. As still as. So my spray booth worked out really well. The repairs look alright, it's amazing. The worst thing that stands out is all the runs. Anyway, it's a bit of an end of an era. The cab is rust free and painted. Man, that was a bit of a... I'm not saying I loved every minute of it, but anyway, good stage to be at. So I think I'm going to throw the cab on the chassis and start painting up the other parts, which I've prepared. They're all in epoxy primer. So I'll start getting them out. Don't know how winter's going to go, but and painting, see what happens. Anyway, there we have it. One rust-free 1967 Dune Beige cab.